the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we are counting you down to the 2025 NFL Draft, which is just over a week away, folks. How exciting. In today's show, we will go over the Seahawks draft plan as I got the documents. And the draft plan has been revealed, according to ESPN. We'll tell you what it is in our first segment here on today's show. Also, we spent a lot of time talking about the first round, not so much about day 2 and day 3. I got a list of the dream draft targets for Seattle with their 2 second-round picks. We'll go over those. And then in our final segment, the folks at the 33rd team, Mike Tannenbaum and company, they run that site, one of the newer sites covering the National Football League from a GM and scouts perspective. They have a brand new 7-round mock draft, and we're going to go over all of the picks for Seattle, show you what they had to say, and react to it and give our thoughts on that mock draft coming up in our final segment here on today's show. 3 segments. Appreciate y'all stopping by and spending your Monday, starting your week with us here on the channel. As you guys file in, shout out your city, and we'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas, on this very fine Monday, where yours truly finally had to give in and turn on the AC yesterday, unfortunately. There goes my energy bill for the next couple of months. Great, just lovely. But, hey, nonetheless, we are vibing here. Let us know where you guys are at, and we'll show you some love as we get this show started. I got Gary in Tillamook, Oregon. It's this beautiful day and not a smell in the air. All right, glad to see the cows aren't messing with you too much there. I got Renee in Spokane. I got Myron in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Gingerbread Man is in the chat saying, Tyler, hello. Good to see you, Gingerbread Man. I got Juan Jose Lopez in Oceanside, California. I got Michael in Honolulu. I got Justin in Seaside, California. Shady Wolf 15 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Got Chase in Jackson Borough, South Carolina. Got Boog in Temple, Texas. What else we got here? We got a Hot Sizzle in Tucson, Arizona. Got Elijah in Seattle. Got Devo in Red River, New Mexico. Got Chris in Syracuse. I got Tony in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. David in Dayton, Ohio. Got Chris in San Antonio. We got Kyle in Burleson, Texas. I got Toucanes in Rio Grande Valley. Got Hunter in Savage, Montana. David is in Panama. Are we going to take back the canal, David? Let me know. Who else we got? We got Cade in Topeka, Kansas. I'm sorry you're in Topeka, Kansas. You should be hanging out in Lawrence. Much cleaner and safer in Lawrence. We got Jerry in Joplin. Got Richard in London. All sorts of people hanging out here with us on this Monday. With the draft coming up in just over a week from right now, and plenty of draft conversation here on today's show, I want to know, who is a player the Seattle Seahawks should draft? And I'm not just talking first-round picks. If you have somebody that comes to mind that you would like to see end up in Seattle in rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let me know. Give me a name you would like to see John Schneider snag up in the 2025 NFL Draft. No wrong answers here. Just want to hear from you guys directly. We got Spock saying Tyler Batty, the edge from BYU. He's probably going to be about a 6th or 7th round pick. So I told you guys, just give me names from any round, and we're going to start all the way in late in day 3. I like it from Spock B. They're going with Tyler Batty from BYU. Give me some other names. Who else would you like to see selected in the NFL Draft? Myron says Cam Scattaboo. I got Crazy Funny Man 17 says Cam Scattaboo. I got Marty saying Savion Williams from TCU. I got Chris saying Nick Imanwari from South Carolina. Who are some other names that come to mind that you'd like to see drafted? Get in the chat and spam them of who you would like to see end up in Seattle when it's all said and done. Got Boog saying Savion Williams. Chase saying Gray Zabel. Okay, so some good options there. I forgot to mention we need to get a game time read in. We'll do that. We can do that next. After we actually, we can go ahead and do that right now. All right. We'll continue with today's show here in just a moment. But first, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Maybe you want to get in on some playoff action. The NBA playoffs just around the corner. Game Time's got those tickets. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seahawks today. And with their last-minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying even easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing where toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Maybe you're like me and you would love to go see the Seattle Mariners here in the summer months ahead. Well, get your tickets on Game Time. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then boom, just like that, you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. On the ones and twos, the one and only. They don't call him Little Tex. He's Big Tex.
That's right.
Who's here
Get
with
my
us
name
today.
right.
Big Tex, good to see you. Happy Monday to you. Did you have a good weekend?
Happy Monday. Yes, sir, I did. It was a very productive weekend.
How productive was it? Are we talking like laundry or errands or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I got my workouts in. Shout out Tony Fuentes, making him proud. But I also got my oil change, which was certainly overdue. Looked at the sticker and was like, that's
How far overdue was it?
I don't know if I want to publicly admit that.
Go ahead.
Couple months over. Couple months,
Couple
like 3-4 months over.
So I don't know if your car has this, but my car has the percentage.
Yeah.
And I let mine get down to last time I needed an oil change down to 5%.
5%? Okay.
Never doing that again.
Yeah, I don't know if mine has a percentage. It just had like a yellow oil can sign. It was like bing, bing, bing. And I was like, probably should have taken care of that. And so I did that, did some laundry, worked out, and got my passport photo done.
Where are you going?
I probably should put that PTO in. I'll do that this week. In July, I'm going to Switzerland with my family.
Okay. Can you bring me back some chocolate?
Of course.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
I got you, bro.
Let's see if you can get that through customs.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's step one.
A little tight. I might have to pay a tariff tax.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on tariffs these days. If you would like a shout-out from Big Tex, Kendrick, how dare you? I'm not on Ozempic. That's what the hell, man? No.
So random.
How dare you? How dare you? I find that so insulting. I earned this body myself, damn it. I didn't use any cheat codes. How dare you, Kendrick? Everybody spam F Kendrick in the chat. And then after that, if you would like a shout-out from Big Tex, spam S. I want to see as many S's as we can over this next minute. Tex is going to shout them out.
That's right.
And let's get this show off and rolling and have ourselves a very good Monday today. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's get after it. I see Myron. I see Tony saying Big Tex. Let's get some S's in there, Tony. I appreciate the call-out, but, hey, get that S in there. Splash. Tony. Juan. Tony.
And you can put F. Kendrick in there if you want for saying I'm on Ozempic.
That's right.
Fraud. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Splash.
Good stuff. Juan. Tony. Splash. Connor. Myron. Cameron. Splash. Juan. Tony. Connor. There's a new name. Nicholas. There's a new name. Michael. Tony. Cameron. Crazy Funny Man. There's a new name. Michael. James. Tony. Michael. Splash. Myron. Juan. Connor. Ari. Tony. Connor. Michael. Juan. Tony. Connor. Myron. Michael. Ari, Connor, Cameron, Gary, Myron, Michael, Chris, Myron, Tony, Marty, Myron, Michael, you guys are getting me with the M names. James, Tony, Myron, Class, Chase, Michael, Myron, Nicholas, James, Gary, Chris, Justin, Chase, Jerry,
10 seconds, keep
Marty,
going.
Myron, John, Michael, Sniper So Humble, Aiden, Jerry, Michael, Gary, Martin, Jerry, Tony, Michael, Tony, Sniper So Humble, and Tony. Ooh,
there we go. Buddy Bear said, not sure what we're spamming. It's right there on the screen. S for Seahawks.
I did put it's up there.
It's on the screen right there.
I told you.
S for Seahawks. Now, with that said, Kendrick, I didn't see enough F. Kendricks or an apology from Kendrick. I need one or the other. Kendrick. How dare you say I was on Ozempic? So either until I get an apology from Kendrick, I just need F. Kendricks to keep on going next. So that's the deal. Kendrick, it's your choice. You can either apologize for your fake news, trying to say I cheated on losing weight with Ozempic, or we can just have people spam F. Kendrick all day. It's up to you. Your choice, Kendrick. It's your choice. All right, if you're ready to start today's show, we are at 32 likes right now. I need to get to 50 to get this show officially started. I will crack open a cold can of beer, Miller Lite to be exact, when we get this show started. But I need you all to hit the like button. And when you do, type me in the chat along with F. Kendrick until he apologizes for his behavior. And then we will get this show started. We're at 35 likes right now. I need 15 more, and then we can get this show off and rolling. There we go. Orchard, I love that. I love you, Orchard. He says Tyler is naturally beautiful. Thank you. No work done here. No work. No Botox. No, none of that. Although a lot of my television colleagues use the Botox and the fillers, men included too. I have not done that. It's all natural here. There we go. Kendrick apologized. He said, I apologize. I'm sorry. Good job, Tyler, on your weight loss. Okay. So I accept your apology, Kendrick. Nobody needs to say F. Kendrick anymore. There we go. Much appreciated. It's all good. It's all good, Kendrick. Who all liked the video? Michael liked it. I need one more, then we'll get to 50. Splash says get those likes up. And there we go, 50 likes. So crack open a cold beer. Splash says Kendrick Apolli dropped Baby Wake Up. Yes, he did. There we go. Much appreciated. Buddy Bear liked the video. Cheers to everybody out there. All right. So, without further ado, here's today's Super Chat menu. I was voted among my peers as the one you would not want your daughter to date the most. And I wonder why. But then I look at our Super Chat menu. I'm like, that might have something to do with it. First time Super Chatters, you get the Seahawks chant. $5 to do a beer cheers. $10 to take some shots. $20 to spin the wheel of punishment. $50, 2 girls, 1 cup. Dollar sign next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute. There is no mailbag today. We do not do mailbags on Mondays, typically. So the only way you can get screen time on today's show is by sending us a Super Chat. And we will show your message, your avatar, and whatever you got, and we'll pay off accordingly. You guys know how it works. When we reach $300 in Super Chats, we will do a boot. It has been a minute since we have done a boot. We came very close last Wednesday, but it did not happen. Can today be the day that we do a boot for the first time in about a month? We'll see if we can make that happen. Who's going to send the first Super Chat of the day? I know it's Monday, but that doesn't mean we can't party. We got a work function tonight, and I would love to be able to pregame with y'all and get this party started early. But it's up to you guys to give us that opportunity to make it happen. Dollar sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. Here is what's ahead on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. We'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Seattle Seahawks as we have the draft plans revealed for what John Schneider and Mike McDonald are going to do. Also, we will look ahead to round number 2. The Seahawks have 2 picks in the second round. Who are the dream second-round targets? We'll tell you in our second segment of today's show. And then the folks at the 33rd team, they have a new 7-round mock draft. And we will go over every single pick for the Seattle Seahawks and share our thoughts on the selections from the 33rd team. We'll show you what they had to say and chime in coming up here on today's show. So, what? Yes, sir. All right. Gingerbread Man with a $20 super chat. We'll go to Gingerbread Man, then we'll start our first segment today. Gingerbread Man's always down to party. I can always count on Gingerbread Man. Sam Darnold, he's our favorite ginger around here. Sorry, Patrick Steepman. I saw Sam Darnold was at the Masters the other day. Did an interview with ESPN. He's pretty excited to be here. Very fitting for him as a ginger to be a big golf fan. That adds up. Well, I mean, it fits the white guy persona. Rich white guy, I bet he was rooting for Rory McIlroy, an Irishman, yesterday. Yeah, I bet he was. Gingerbread Man will spin the wheel of punishment for you. I would guess that Rory's probably his favorite golfer. Gingerbread Man, thanks for that super chat. Everybody spam Gingerbread Man. The Gingerbread Man, Sam Darnold. As we'll get to our wheel of punishment for the very first time today and see what comes of that with our options today. We'll get to that here in just a bit. Gingerbread Man, hope you're having a good Monday, my guy. It's a good Monday for yours truly. We're living. We're vibing around here. The vibes are immaculate here on this Monday. I'll be honest. I'm ready to get this show over with and get to this party tonight. Because your boy is drinking on the boss's dime on a Monday night. That sounds like a great time, if I'd say so myself. All right. Almost time for the wheel of punishment. What is going to happen? We will find out here in just a matter of moments on today's show. News and rumors coming up next. Then a second-round dream draft targets, and then mock draft reaction from the 33rd team. But here we go, folks. Let's spin the wheel of punishment. Everybody spam Gingerbread Man. What's it going to be? It is going to be, it's close. It's close. 10 push-ups. Almost ended up being raised my right hand. That's as close of a wheel spin as you can get. I'll knock out my push-ups. Tex is going to count them out.
That's right.
And then we'll get this show started. So here we go, folks. 10 push-ups. Let's burn off the bear, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. All right. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beast.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Gingerbread Man. Woo! Now we're rolling. I need a sip of water, then we'll start today's show. Aqua. H2O.
Cool.
Can anyone tell me what H2O stands for? I know Tex knows. Anyone in the chat, do you know what H2O stands for without looking it up? Here we go, folks. Let's begin. Segment numero uno. Let's talk about the Seahawks draft plans, courtesy of ESPN. That begins here on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, starting right now. I've got the documents. They've admitted this. Well, the folks at ESPN have anyway. Welcome in to this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. As the draft plans for the Seattle Seahawks have been revealed to ESPN. And I'll say this, before some of you come at me for saying, sure, yeah, you got the draft plans right from an ESPN article. Last year, this same exact type of article, ESPN told us from their sources Seattle was going to pick Byron Murphy from Texas, and they did. So they have a pretty good track record on this information, and it's twofold. Let's start with round one. This may not be the news people want to hear, but that's what we're here to tell you, what you need to hear on the program. And according to ESPN, they are saying, despite all the conversation, the talk about the Hawks drafting an offensive lineman in round number 1, that you need to watch out for a wide receiver to be selected by the Seahawks with their 18th overall pick. Let's start with this from Matt Miller of ESPN, who writes the following. Seattle is in the midst of a roster makeover with 5 picks in the top 100. It has plenty of draft capital to do it. While the offensive line is an area the Seahawks are expected to focus on, expect them to be looking for a big-bodied receiver too. T-Mac could fill that need with their first-round pick. Now, I want an offensive lineman. I have been beating that drum for the last couple of months that I wanted Seattle to draft a tackle or a guard with their first-round pick. But if T-Mac is there, and at one point in time, some people had T-Mac projected to go top 5. If he slips all the way to 18, then you have my attention. It would be hard to say no to a player of this caliber if he is still around when the Hawks pick with that 18th overall selection. We'll tell you more here in just a moment, but first, a reminder, folks, our sub-battle continues in the lead-up to the 2025 NFL Draft. We have just over a week to go in our NFC Powerhouse sub-battle, and we have fallen behind, folks. We got work to do if we want to win this sub-battle against the 49ers report and the Cowboys report. If you want to beat the whiners and the cowgirls, you need to subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you up-to-the-minute draft coverage. We'll be live for the NFL Draft here on Seattle Seahawks Today, in addition to our daily news and rumors, our live shows twice a week, and breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. You got to be subscribed. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Now, I got to tell you, as a former fat guy, I love me some sweets. I love desserts. I think everybody loves dessert. But you have to have your dinner first. All right? Grandma raised me right. Grandma always made a great dinner, and then we had dessert. And then we enjoyed our things first. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, dessert sounds good. Having more skill position players like T-Mac and others, that sounds enticing. But you still got to have your main course and fix your offensive line. I think T-Mac will be a star in this league. I think he has all the makings to be an incredible receiver in the National Football League. But if you make this selection, can you have your cake and eat it too? Can you still fix the offensive line? I don't know if you can. And that's what makes this potentially dangerous if Seattle goes this route. Let's tell you more about T-Mac. Played for the Arizona Wildcats from 2022 to 2024. He was a consensus All-American and a first-team All-Big 12 selection in his first year in that conference in 2024. And might I add, he is Polynesian. He was named the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year in 2024. And here's the statistics that he put up. Just phenomenal. The last 2 seasons at Arizona. In 2023, had 90 total catches for over 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns and close to 16 yards of reception. Last year, even though it was a down year for Arizona, he still put up great numbers with 84 catches and 1 less game played and over 1,300 yards. His average was actually up 15.7 with 8 touchdowns, did have 7 drops. His scouting report goes as follows. He's a big frame pass catcher. He's smooth and fluid. He's got great run after catch ability. He's got an outstanding catch radius. Anything that comes in his way, he's bringing it in some way or another. Now, he does need a bit more urgency at the snap. You know, I was a track athlete in middle school and high school, and it helped me as a football player because it helped me get off the ball quicker. I don't know what T-Mac needs to do to kind of get out of his stance quicker, But if he could have more urgency, and that's a small thing with all the good that he brings to the table, if he can figure that out, he's going to be in very good shape. So, what do you think about this idea of going with T-Mac at 18 overall? Type D for draft, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section. Let us know what you think. In a moment, we're going to have more on Seattle's draft plans from ESPN of what they'll be looking to do with their other selections. But first, let's take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seattle Seahawks today, where their last-minute deals can save you 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. Save even more, my friends, when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. With Game Time, they offer their ticket coverage where your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Now, I know that they're talking a lot about NBA playoff games, and we miss the Sonics around here. I get that. But don't worry, there's still plenty of other events right here in Seattle, whether it's the Mariners, maybe you want to go to an event within the Pacific Northwest. We got it all for you. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. Choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then boom, just like that, you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Now, as we move on past the first round, the next question then becomes that was posed by ESPN. How can Seattle, with having so many picks in the top 100, how can they earn an A draft grade? Can they get the talent they're looking for and also cover their needs at the same time? And what was brought up by Brady Henderson of ESPN, it's pretty simple. There's 4 positions that they need to focus on without reaching, without getting guys that aren't worthy of said pick. And the 4 positions that Brady mentions are the offensive guard spot, wide receiver, safety, and nose tackle. Here's more from Brady Henderson. The Seahawks need to find at least one difference maker for the interior of their offensive line. General Manager John Schneider has said it's hard to upgrade at center in this year's draft. So they'd earn an A if they add a standout guard and then address 2 of their other needs, another guard, a speedy receiver, a safety, or a nose tackle, all without having to reach. And if you're the Seahawks here, you got 5 picks in the top 100. A wise man once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And this is a golden opportunity ahead for John Schneider and Mike McDonald and the scouting department to take care of these needs with cheap young players and get quality talent. I mean, it's not a reach, folks, to say that if you find the right guys, you could get 5 starters out of those 5 picks if you play your cards right in this draft. That's the opportunity that's ahead for Seattle here in this coming week ahead. What is the biggest need for the Seahawks in this year's draft? If you had to pinpoint it to one thing, what would it be and why? Get in that comment section. Let me know what you think that is. A couple more notes that I would also add on to this. Don't forget about the corner position either. All right? Rick Woolen, it's a make or break year for him coming up. We know Devin Witherspoon's going to be around for a long time. But outside of that, you got some major question marks. Josh Jobe, we've heard Mike McDonald say that they would like some competition for him at the outside corner spot. Maybe you find that in this draft, but you could use some depth there. I think you have to address that. And then one other recent development, the quarterback position. We heard John Schneider say in recent weeks that he's embarrassed with their track record, or lack thereof, of drafting quarterbacks in his tenure there. And that was something that he wanted to change and wants to draft a quarterback. Well, now that you've signed Sam Darnold to be your starter, and you most recently signed Drew Lock, that seems to be unlikely now. I'm not saying they won't draft a quarterback, but I think that's kind of on the back burners at this point. Maybe you find somebody late in rounds 5, 6, or 7, but I don't think that's the priority for this Seahawks team heading into the draft next week. For continuing Seahawks draft coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the channel. All right. 1 down, 2 to go. What do you guys think about the idea of drafting T-Mac at 18 overall? Type D for draft, P for pass. Get in that comment section. Tell us what you think. Big Tex is going to rejoin me here in just a moment. We'll get his thoughts on this idea.
Yep.
Tex, I'll say this.
What's up?
A few weeks ago, I was not I have not been high on the idea of drafting a receiver. But on the flip side, I wasn't expecting us to have this conversation about T-Mac being available at 18. Like Matthew Golden, if you pick him, I'm not going to be too excited about that, to be honest. Okay.
A little bit of a reach.
It feels like a reach to me. I have a second-round grade on Golden. I know he's moved up boards a lot in the last couple of weeks. But if T-Mac falls, then I feel like you have a different conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially if you compare him to Golden, I think he would be less of a reach at that pick at 18th overall compared to Golden. I would argue Golden is arguably going to fall to the second round potentially. Maybe not. Maybe he's first-round pick. I don't know. I think that McMillan would be a better selection at 18 overall, and it would be less of a reach, and it'd make more sense. But I still think offensive line makes way more sense at 18 overall. You could get a really good receiver after 18.
There's a lot of good receivers in this draft.
There's not a lot of good offensive linemen after the first round, period.
And you have your top 2 receivers already established with JSN and Cooper Kupp. You're looking for a number 3.
Yeah, you're not looking for a wide receiver 1.
Right. Now, maybe they turn into wide receiver 1 or 2 down the line.
Right.
But I think you can wait on receiver. But if a guy like T-Mac's there, it'd be hard to pass up.
True.
We got Kendrick saying pass. Devo saying draft. We got Connor saying pass. Random Uploaded saying draft. Lon saying pass. Weigh in and let us know. Somebody was asking earlier, hey, can my comments still get in the show? Yeah. If you send in a super chat, which we already had one come in earlier from Gingerbread Man, which we showed you, then that's how you can get screen time. There's no mailbag today. The only way you can get screen time is by sending a super chat, $sign next to the chat box, and we will react to whatever super chats you guys send in with whatever message. First time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 give you a beer cheers. $10 to take some shots. $20 or $10 to take some shots. $20 spin the wheel of punishment. $50 2 girls 1 cup. We already had $20 come in, so we got a ways to go to get to a boot, which is $300. But we still have 2 more segments to go, so there is time if you guys would like to send a super chat and get on screen and make that happen. Up next, let's talk dream draft targets. I got 10 players to watch for the Seahawks picks. Can you add an S to that pick? Picks? Yeah, my bad. The Seahawks picks at 50 and 52. Yes. Now, Rainwater Games is saying the biggest need is offensive guard, but there's more opportunity within the top 100 picks to get goose guys. So I think they are smarter to pick a tight end, a wide receiver at 18. If a rock star is there, then get O-line at day 2. Maybe so, Rainwater Games. Yes, sir. All right, let's talk dream draft targets. I got 10 players to watch, and I got you some variety here. I got several different positions that we'll discuss among these 10 different players. We'll go over those in our next segment. Then our final segment today, we're going to react to the latest mock draft from the 33rd team. Let's continue now with this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Day. Dream Draft Targets starts right now. You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. And we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about round one of the draft. Now, there's a very intriguing situation for Seattle. They have not one, but 2 picks in the second round. And when you win a Super Bowl, it's not all about what you do day one. It comes down in large part to what you do in days 2 and 3. I got a list of 10 players that could be available when Seattle picks at 50 and 52. We'll go over those said players coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, who is a player that you want the Seahawks to draft in the second round? No wrong answers. Just let me know who comes to mind that you would like to see picked in the second round. Spam them in the comments section. I want to see as many comments as you can of your second round draft targets for the Hawks, and we'll get going here on today's program. So the Seahawks enter the draft with a lot of needs to address, from the interior to the offensive line, the offensive tackle position, edge, wide receiver, defensive line, corner, safety, linebacker, and tight end, just to name a few. They do have about $36 million in cap space, so you use on average about $10 million for your draft picks. That'll leave you about another 16 to potentially spend after the draft as Mike Macdonald enters his second season in Seattle. So, who are these said draft targets? Let's go ahead and get started with Tate Ratledge, the offensive guard from Georgia. And I got to tell you, I would not want to mess with this guy on the farm. I mean, this is a hog molly if I've ever seen one, folks. Tate Ratledge was fantastic with the Georgia Bulldogs. His PFF grade's very solid in 500 snaps this past season, an overall grade of 74.4, a pass block grade of 77.3, a run block grade of 74.7, only allowed 1 sack and 2 penalties. He's probably the second best guard in this draft, only behind Tyler Booker out of Alabama, and he held his own with only giving up 2 hits in 4 hurries, got called for just 2 penalties. He is somebody that would be ready to step in right away and start at one of the guard spots for Seattle, and I think he's got a chance to be very good for a long time. I would not be upset at all if Seattle uses one of those 2 second-round picks on Ratledge. Let's ask you guys, our pinned comment today, should the Seahawks draft Tate Ratledge? Type D for draft, P for pass, weigh in that comment section, and let us know if you would draft Ratledge or not. Let's go to another position, and this is where we find Shavon Revel Jr. from East Carolina. Revel had a fantastic 2023, and he was well on his way to having a breakout season in 2024 prior to a season-ending injury. And all the talk about Revel before the injury was that he was going to be a top 15 or top 20 pick. But even before he got hurt, he was off to a great start in 2024 with 2 interceptions in 3 games, including a pick 6, 4 pass breakups, and 8 tackles. He was really, really good. In 2023 was a fantastic season. He only allowed 19 completions with 250 yards and 1 touchdown, 14 pass breakups. And how about the QBR rating allowed? 61.2. Revel was that guy. And if he can get fully healthy, I think that he looks like a starting caliber corner at the next level. I think that would be a good pick for Seattle with either one of their selections. How about this guy, Josh Conerly Jr.? I have seen his stock all over the place. Some people think he's a late first-round pick. Others think that he could be in the middle to late second round and could be in position for Seattle to select there with one of their 2 second-round picks, the offensive tackle from Oregon. Conerly had very good numbers. An overall grade of 78.1 last year, a pass block grade of 83.5, a run block grade of 72.5. Played a lot of snaps, 965, with just 1 sack allowed, got called for 4 penalties. And he did a pretty decent job of protecting the quarterback. Just 2 hits in 6 hurries allowed this past season. Conerly, there would be some nice value if you can potentially get him there in round number 2. Next, let's go edge rusher. This is where we find Nick Scorton, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. I keep wanting to call him Nick Scrotum, but no, he is not a scrotum. But this is somebody that was really good at Purdue, had 10 sacks in 2023 with 42 pressures and 1 forced fumble and 50 tackles. Last year, he goes to Texas A&M, new defensive scheme. Things were a bit different for him, but he still held his own, even with his numbers going down, with 37 tackles, 14 TFLs, 5 sacks, 36 pressures, and 1 forced fumble. If he is still the same player that he was at Purdue, then he's got some real potential to excel at the next level. But I think some teams are alarmed that his numbers went down a bit there at Texas A&M this past season, and even playing in more games on that front. Meanwhile, let's talk about Big Jonah, the big fish from Arizona at the offensive line spot. A lot of questions. What position is he going to play at the next level? Is he an offensive tackle? Is he an offensive guard? I don't know, to be honest with you. But as we've stated before in this program, you're looking to put the best 5 out there. And I can find a spot for Jonah, whether it's guard or tackle, or if I have to move Abraham Lucas to guard, whatever it may be, we can make this work. His overall grade, solid, 75.9. Pass blocking is his strength with an 82.7 grade and a run block grade of 64.2. Allowed 4 sacks, got called for 1 penalty, and only gave up 2 hits on the quarterback last year with 9 hurries. Could be some good value because there was some discussions early on about him potentially being a first-round pick. If he's still available when Seattle picks in the second round, that could be some good value with him there. What about between these 2 offensive linemen? You like Jonah or you like Conerly better? Type JC, not for the man upstairs, but for Josh Conerly. Or you can type JS for Jonah. Maybe he's your favorite Bible character in this case. Let us know. And type JC for Josh Conerly, type JS for Big Jonah in the comments section below. Up next, we find Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle from Holy Toledo. Darius Alexander, to me, is very intriguing because he was one of the best defensive linemen in all of college football, and all eyes were on him in the MAC conference because he stood out among the rest of all the pressure he had to take on with the double teams and all that, and yet he was still productive. 3.5 sacks this past season, 4 pass breakups, 37 pressures. And I know you drafted Byron Murphy last year. I get that, but you're lacking some depth, and we don't know how much longer we are going to have Jarran Reed at this point, as he's in his 30s now and everything. Got to start preparing for the future. Darius Alexander could be a good fit on that front there. Meanwhile, let's go to the receiver position now. This guy, his stock has plummeted. Luther Burden III from Mizzou was thought of to be a sure thing first-round pick just about 3 months ago, and now there's more and more discussion about him slipping to the second round after having a bit of a disappointing year with the Missouri Tigers, as this past season, even though he was clearly the best receiver on his team, granted they had some quarterback problems there with the Missouri Tigers, his numbers were down quite a bit after an outstanding 2023 campaign. He had 61 catches, 676 yards. His average was down from 14.1 to 11.1, 6 touchdowns. Luther Burden might be worth taking a chance if he is still around there for Seattle's 2 picks. The safety position, a position of need, and that's where we find Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Xavier Watts, that is. And this guy's a turnover machine, all right? With Seattle looking to play 3 safeties, that number 3 safety you would like to be able to jump in and create those extra possessions, to be a rover of sorts. And that's where Xavier Watts could be a good fit. Listen to this, folks. That number on your screen, it's not a lie. 13 interceptions in 2 seasons, along with 2 forced fumbles combined in those 2 seasons. Wow, wow, wow. And his coverage stats, even more impressive. Only allowed a QB rating of 30.1. Only allowed 179 yards. This guy played 16 games, almost a full NFL schedule last year as Notre Dame was in the national championship. How is this guy not being talked about when it comes to being a first-round pick? I love Xavier Watts. I think this could be a good fit for Seattle potentially. Who's a player the Seahawks should draft? Gone over a few names already. We got a few more to go, but want to hear from you guys. Get in the comment section. Give me a name that you would like to see selected in the 2025 NFL Draft. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. Cooper Kupp jerseys are on sale now with free shipping as well. Chatsports.com/Cup is where you can get yours today. Look, we're all excited about having Cooper Kupp in Seattle. What better way this summer to be supporting your Seattle Seahawks than by wearing the jersey of one of the hometown kids in Cooper Kupp. And you can get your jerseys now at chatsports.com/Cup. We also have other Seahawks merchandise, including Sam Darnold jerseys, available at that same link. Go see for yourself, chatsports.com/Cup. Free shipping available. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check it out today. You'll be glad you did. All right, up next, Elijah Arroyo, the tight end from Miami. This is a very good year for tight ends with Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. And it seems unlikely that Seattle is going to get one of those two for the first-round pick there at 18. So what other options could they go with? Well, I think Elijah Arroyo has the chance to be a stud in this league. Had a breakout season this past year, 7 touchdowns. Look, the Seahawks have had a problem when it comes to red zone tight ends as of late. Noah Fant has, I think, 1 red zone touchdown in, the last 2 or 3 years? You want to fix that problem? Might I present you Elijah? Come forth. 35 total catches, 590 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he's got good yards after catch ability as well. Nearly 17 yards of reception last year with the Miami Hurricanes. Last on our list, I'll give you another receiver here. How about Jaden Higgins from Iowa State? Was part of a dynamic duo with him and Jalen Knoll, who each had over 1,000 yards with Rocco Beck throwing them the football. They got to the Big 12 championship game this past season. And even with sharing time with Knoll, he still had nearly 1,200 yards with 87 catches, 9 touchdowns, and he takes care of the football too. Only 2 drops this past year with a 13.6 average. Jaden Higgins was really, really good. So there's your list of some dream draft targets for round number 2 for Seattle's 2 picks. If you made it to the end of today's video, that means you are a real one, a real member of the 12s. Spam 12 in the comments section, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. Thanks for watching. 2 down. 1 to go. Up next is our mock draft reaction. Yeah. All right. Who is a player the Hawks should draft? Z is saying draft Jonah. Stowe is saying, talking about, let's see. He's talking about Higgins. The last receiver almost never drops the ball, though. Yeah. Rainwater Games says no on Arroyo. Rainwater Games, what's your reasoning on that? You just can't say no without giving me a reason. You say if you can't get Warren, draft Mitchell Evans. Why Evans over Arroyo? I like Arroyo a lot. What do you not like about Arroyo? Give me a reason. Give me a reason why you don't like Arroyo. Super Chat menu. We do need to catch up on some Super Chats. Here's the Super Chat menu as follows as we go into our final segment. First time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50, 2 girls, 1 cup. We're at $28 right now, so we got a ways to go to get to a boot. But we could potentially get that done. Here we go. Adriano De Santos with a $2 Super Chat. Could we end up drafting a proper nose tackle? Yes. They very well could. They very well could. We just talked about one. Darius Alexander. He's a name to watch potentially. I could see them going with Darius Alexander as a potentially being that option. But very good question. Yes, that could certainly happen. Myron with a $5 super chat. That's a beer cheers. Cheers to you. He says, with the QB position now on the back burner, do you see the Hawks picking up a quarterback in the later rounds to develop? If so, whom? It's possible, but unlikely. I'll give you a little tease. In our next segment, the 33rd team is projecting that Seattle is going to go with Curtis Rourke from Indiana. Well, I'll be honest, kind of has a noodle arm. That doesn't excite me, but he's a 7th-round pick. So I think like a 6th or 7th-round guy, like Curtis Rourke, a Riley Leonard, somebody of that magnitude, potentially as one of those guys to watch. We'll see. As far as that goes. But Myron, thanks for that. Thanks for that $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Up next, mock draft reaction. And then we'll wrap up and call it a day. Been a lot of fun already so far in this live edition of Seahawks Today. And feel free to keep sending the super chats, and we'll react to them. Our poll question right now, should the Seahawks draft T-Mac? 55% of you say yes. 45% say no. I feel like I could put anybody in the poll question. I could put Curtis Rourke on there, and you all would say yes. I feel like the majority always like, yeah, sure, let's draft this guy. Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right. Final segment. Let's do our mock draft. And then, it's not our mock draft. It's the 33rd team's mock draft. We'll react to it, and then we'll get out of here as we continue here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. Let's continue here. Our final segment starts right now. Coming up on today's show, we're going to go over a mock draft from the 33rd team, all 7 rounds. But we do our own mock drafts around here, and I'll be honest, I think I do a pretty good job. If you would like a brand new Seahawks mock draft from Chat Sports ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft, like today's video, I will make a deal because I am a man of deals. If we get at least 500 likes on today's video, your fearless leader will bring you a mock draft as early as this week. So, does that sound like a deal? I think that sounds like a deal. Hit the like button. We'll get started with today's show. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for stopping by here on Seattle Seahawks Today. The 33rd team, in case you don't know what the 33rd team is, they're one of the newer sites covering the National Football League. It's put together by a lot of former front office executives that have been around the league for a long time. And they did a mock for all 32 teams of all 7 rounds, no trades. And what we're going to do here on today's show is we're going to show you the picks that were made for Seattle, what they had to say about the picks, and also give you our thoughts as well here on today's show. So let's get started with the first pick for the Seahawks at 18 overall. The 33rd team projects Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden with the pick. Here's more from Kyle Krabs, who I cannot confirm or deny has Krabs, writes the following. Seattle's revamped passing offense has many threats that can live in the middle of the field, but finding a field stretcher to change the math for how teams space the field against Seattle is a must. Golden has the makings of a great foil to Kupp and Smith and Jigba. Now, I evolve around here. Opinions can change over time. I'm becoming more open to the idea of drafting Matthew Golden. I feel like we've seen a whole lot of mock drafts over the last couple of weeks that have made this same projection of Golden going to Seattle at 18. But if you do this, it's a two-edged sword, right? If you're going to go this route of drafting Matthew Golden or another receiver, then you better do a bang-up job at getting this offensive line right. It's a slippery slope. I want an offensive lineman, and that would be my preference at this. But if you look at the board and say, we're still going to get our opportunities to get what we're looking for, then I can live with potentially the selection of Matthew Golden or another receiver with this pick. So let's ask you, what do you think about Matthew Golden? Should the Seahawks draft Matthew Golden? Type S for select, P for pass. Wait in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. The NBA playoffs are here. I know we still wish we had the Sonics around here, but maybe you want to make the trek to go see an NBA playoff game. Game Time's the place to do it, folks. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seahawks Today, where they have their last-minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time makes last-minute ticket buying even easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section. Let Game Time choose the seats. They have their all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Their seat views give a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. The Game Time ticket coverage includes your purchase being covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code ChatSports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, the lowest price is guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time, and you'll be glad you did, folks. Maybe it's an event in Seattle, like you want to go see the Mariners. I would love to go see the Mariners right now. They got the prices listed. Choose your seat, and you're checking out on Game Time. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Check it out, Game Time. Link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, let's continue. So we had Matthew Golden with the first-round pick at 18. Then we go to our first of two second-round picks, and this is where we go find a big fish, that being Jonah from the University of Arizona at the offensive line. Now, it's to be determined, is he going to be an offensive tackle? Is it going to be a guard? Either way, I can find a spot for him one way or another and figure out what to do with Abraham Lucas. If I have to move Lucas to guard, if I have to play Jonah at guard, whatever it may be, he will start for me immediately. He's got solid burst and shock that he brings to the table. He's got moves like Jagger. He can move it, folks. And that's really good for an offensive lineman. And his grades are pretty solid across the board when it comes to what he can do in both pass blocking and run blocking. Then we go with one of the best players in college football this past year, JTT, the edge rusher from The Ohio State, was a part of the national champion roster there for the Buckeyes. Good size and frame. He was very productive as well on that national championship team. And he had such an impact. I don't think Ohio State wins the national championship without him. That's how much he meant to the Buckeyes this past season. I think this would not be a bad pick to add some depth. You can never have too many pass rushers. I think it could be a decent pick for Seattle there at 52. Now we will head to the third round in a moment, but first, your chance to put your GM hat on and tell us, should the Seahawks draft JTT? If so, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Chime in that comment section and let us know. At 82 in the third round, we find Jamari Caldwell, the defensive tackle from the University of Oregon. And one thing I've heard from the 12s as we've done our draft coverage over the last couple of weeks, can we find somebody that's a real nose tackle that's meant to play specifically the nose tackle position? And Caldwell has got good build for the nose tackle spot there specifically. So that's very good that he's got the size and frame you're looking for at that position. And we talk about having strength in numbers. getting some depth there, getting some rotational pieces, and making life easier for the rest of your defensive linemen. Jarran Reed's going to get older. Byron Murphy, we've heard in the past, Mike McDonald talk about his concerns of his conditioning in all seriousness. And I like Byron Murphy too, but maybe give him a couple snaps off and let Caldwell jump in here. I think it could be a good fit there. Another offensive lineman, this guy's seen his stock drop. Some people had him as a first-round pick at one point. Now he's projected to go third round. In this mock, he goes 92 to Seattle. That is Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle from NC State. He excels against power rushers. All right? When you think of the Trey Hendricksons of the world or the Aiden Hutchinsons, and you're trying to just hold your own against those guys, Belton can do just that. He can hold his own and limit those power rushers from having those explosive days. Then at 137, we finally get a second receiver, actually. And this is where we find Tez Johnson from Oregon. And I got to say, I like Tez Johnson a lot. He's got a terrific story. He and Bo Nix, they grew up together. Bo Nix's family adopted him, raised him as their own child, and they might as well be brothers. And he's dynamic, and he's explosive. And he's not just a threat when it comes to the receiving game, but he's also a threat when it comes to kick and punt return coverage as well. You will find ways to get Tez Johnson on the football field and get the most out of him. Who is a player the Seahawks should draft? We've gone over several of these names from the 33rd team's mock draft. Who comes to mind for you? Name me a player in the comments section below. Up next, we go to pick number 172. This is where we find Clemson safety R.J. Mickens with the pick. We know Seattle has a need at safety. It's not their most pressing need, but still a need nonetheless. Mickens is rapid, and he is an instinctive processor. He can pick up things pretty fast, which you always wonder with these rookies. How quickly can they pick up the defense? How quickly can they compete for playing time? Mickens is a guy that can come in right away and compete, and that we could potentially see a lot of if he got the chance. Then we go to 175, just a few picks later, and we're going with another Oregon Duck. Notice a trend here? Just wait, folks. This is where we find Madden Jr., the linebacker from Oregon. Good length and tackle radius that he brings to the table. You're not going to have to worry about too many missed tackles with him, as he can close up that space very well in that sense. What is the biggest need for the Seahawks in this draft? If you had to narrow it down to one thing, what would that be? I can already just see it in the comments section. Lineman. Let us know what that is. Another Oregon Duck. This time it's Jordan James, the running back. I like Jordan James. And what I like about this mock is we know that Seattle could use some help in the backfield, whether it be running back or fullback. But you already have some good backs with K9 and Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh. If we're going to get a running back, we're not going too early at this. Giving James a chance. That's a lot of Oregon guys. There'll be some instant chemistry there. I mean, what's the next pick going to be? Dylan Gabriel? I mean, are we going to hire Dan Lanning too at this point? But with all that said, Jordan James, good pass catcher, got some good speed. Could be some decent value if you get him at 223. Last on this mock draft from the 33rd team is Indiana quarterback Curtis Rourke. And Rourke, I'll say this. I like this for a backup quarterback in that he's got high football IQ. He doesn't have the strongest arm. In fact, he might have a noodle arm, to be honest. But he's a smart football player, and he finds his spots. I would say one of the things that stood out to me watching him in Indiana this year, there wasn't a whole lot of talent. There wasn't a whole lot of Indiana players going to the NFL. But he was such a smart football player that he maximized what he could with the players around him. Put his players in good spots and took advantage of it. Not a terrible pick, although quarterback's not a high priority, but it's a 7th-round pick anyway. So let's grade the 33rd team's Seahawks mock draft. How do you think our guy Kyle Krabs, who I still can't confirm or deny if he has crabs or not? It's crazy to me. I haven't found out this information. Maybe one day we'll ask him. How would you grade how Kyle and his crabs did? A, B, C, D, or F? Get your grade in the comments section and let us know. So to recap, this was the mock draft from the 33rd team. Matthew Golden, Jonah, JTT, Caldwell, and Belton, followed by Johnson, Mickens, Mondin Jr., James, and Rourke. I don't think this is a bad mock draft. Personally, I would not have taken Matthew Golden at 18, but you did get a couple of good offensive linemen with Belton along with Jonah. So you did take care of those things, and you addressed a lot of needs in this draft. This could have been a lot worse. You are betting a lot on Golden for a position that you already have your number 1 and 2 receivers established. And you're ignoring potentially some good linemen still on the board with that pick. So that's my thoughts. This is a good mock, but not a great mock draft. But it's one I could live with. If this is how things end up being, if we're sitting here on Saturday night, and this is who the Seahawks end up taking, I can live with that, which is okay with me. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Like the video. Oh, there we go. Get my thumb straight. There we go. Like the video. If you enjoyed today's show, if you would like us to do a mock draft, we need about 500 likes on today's video. And then we'll bring you an updated mock draft later this week if you guys can make that happen. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you next time on this very program that we happen to call Seattle Seahawks Today. All right. We got some super chats that we'll catch up on. Some big ones, too. Here's the menu as follows. First time super chats get the Seahawks chant. $5 do a beer cheers. $10 take some shots. $20 spin the wheel of punishment. $50 2 girls, 1 cup. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. We're at $88 right now, so got a ways to go to get to a boot, but there's still a little bit of time to potentially make something happen there. Yes, we hit Myron's. It's after that. It's no regret native. Yep. All right, we got a $50 super chat. Bang! No regret native. Spam no regret. No regrets. Make it rain. Make it rain in here. No regret native. My fellow native brother with a $50 super chat. Says trade 18 for 4 and 6 and 26 7th rounder. Maybe. Hey, yeah, it would. It'd be a lot. Be a lot potentially to move up to 4. Because what do you have in mind there? What do you want to draft with that? No regret. We do owe you 2 girls, 1 cup, so I got to chug a beer, and we got to show you 2 girls on screen. So I'll start with the beer chugging. No regret. Follow up on that. Who do you have in mind that you're looking to potentially trade up for? Everybody spam no regret. I'm chugging beer. Cheers to you, no regret. Let's go. There we go. A nice fine Pilsner beer, my friends. Oh, man. Stowe says 18 for another second and another second. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Stowe. But no regret. Everybody spam no regret in the chat. I see Myron with no regret. All right, so our 2 girls, 1 cup option. Big Tex, he picks these out. And let's see who chose this time. Tex, I'll be honest. Who is this? I don't know.
Have you seen Full House?
Oh, I have. Is that Mary Kate and Ashley?
Yes.
I didn't recognize them.
I know.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
The Olsen twins. Where are they at these days? Whatever happened to the Olsen twins?
That is a great question. I don't know. I just looked it up. That was one of the first ones. So unfortunately, I think
Is this what they look like now?
I think sadly.
What happened?
Too much partying and change of lifestyle. I don't
Didn't they
know.
like go to law school or something?
One of them, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
the Olsen twins. How do we feel about that? No regret, native. How do we feel about the Olsen twins?
You're like, I don't know who this is.
I didn't recognize him.
That's
Wow.
brutal.
Is that a bad job by me, or have they just changed that much?
They've changed a lot.
The Olsen twins. Full House. Back in the day. What was the movie that they did? They did a couple movies.
Oh yeah.
Now I got to look this up. The Olsen twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley, they are 38 years old now. That'll make you feel old.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to remember what was the movie they did together. What was that movie? I don't know why I can't think of it. Yeah, those were the days. Rainwater Game says a couple. They did like 50 movies. My bad. Mary-Kate and Ashley. There we go. Thank you for that. My native brother. Gingerbread Man with a $10 super chat. That's a shot. Could you see them drafting a safety, then move Kobe back to corner? No, I could see them drafting a safety, but I think they're pretty happy with the results of Kobe at the corners, at the safety spot. He's done pretty well. He's a starter there. I would be surprised if that happened, but you never know. That's a shot. I'll go straight from the bottle. Go straight from the bottle for Gingerbread Man. Cheers to you. There we go. All right, guys. I would love to stay, but we have to run. We have a party to get to tonight. We will have more content on the channel throughout the week. We'll have another live show on Wednesday as well, so don't miss out on that. And, of course, we'll be live for the NFL Draft next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Make sure and join us. Can't wait. Should be a lot of fun. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for supporting us. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks.